Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about MCT, which is Marine Combat Training. It's the next step you go into after you graduate boot camp and you spend your few days at home with your family and friends. A lot of people don't really know that much about it, but it is kind of a big deal, and a lot of people have described it as essentially the fourth phase of boot camp. Every Marine has to do it. You either go to ITB if you're going to be an infantry Marine, or you go to MCT if you're any other job in the Marine Corps. Um, the ITB, and I can't really talk that much on since I did go to MCT, but basically when you get there after your 10-day boot camp leave, you get separated into the ITB and MCT Marines. I actually had no clue. When I graduated boot camp, they told me that, or my drill instructors told me that I was going to be infantry, so I kind of expected to get sent to ITB. And then when I arrived, they actually put me in a holding platoon. They call it camp guard, and all you do is do security for the base for a while. Until you can pick up your platoon. So for an entire week after I got there, I actually did think I was going to ITB. And then when we picked up our platoons, they put me in an MCT platoon, and they asked if anybody had any questions, and I raised my hand and asked, well, why am I in this line? And they told me it was because I wasn't infantry, which was news to me at the time. But the first week of MCT is just mostly admin stuff, and you do some classes on different things that you would do in combat, and you do a little bit of drill, like maneuvers and stuff, but not a whole lot of that. You do practice some stuff, but a lot of it's just getting your gear and filling out paperwork and taking classes. Then the second week, you hike out into the field, kind of. I don't really remember a whole lot of it. It was a while ago, but the second week you do a lot of the just fire team formations. You know, how you would go together as a group in combat, and just the different firing maneuvers. I do remember you dig a hole, a fighting hole. They teach you about different positions and setups that you would do in a war situation. You dig your hole for a day and you spend the night there. We didn't spend the night because the weather was supposed to be horrible, but the whole time you're out there for that week, you don't get to shower. And then you don't get to shower for the next week either, which is the range week. And that's the week that I thought was a lot of fun. You hike a lot, which is not fun. Every morning you wake up really early. And actually, when you start range week, you go out, I think it's like a 5-6 mile hike, into, basically you're living in a metal hut. There's, once again, no showers, no actual bathrooms. You clean yourself as best you can with wet wipes and with just the water from your canteen. And unfortunately it was really hot when I went, so everybody smelled horrible. But range week, you go out, that's the week where you get to shoot all the cool stuff in the Marine Corps. You get to shoot the machine guns, you get to shoot the grenade launcher, you shoot a simulated rocket launcher, which is kind of dumb, but it's still kind of cool, I guess, that they're teaching you how to shoot it. And you get to throw hand grenades, which makes a lot of people really nervous, but essentially as long as you get it over the wall, you're okay. We did have a couple people who didn't get it over the wall, and the combat instructors had to tackle them out of the hole. But at the end of that third week, you do what, it's a 3-day simulated war. They call it the BSRE. I don't really remember what that stands for, I'm sorry, but it's, a lot of people tried to say it's as bad as the Crucible at the end of boot camp. I really didn't think it was. You are tired, you really don't sleep much that 3 days, and you are really active, but it was more fun than anything to me. You go out and you do little patrols where you get ambushed, you do some night stuff, and you have to defend a little village, or you have to attack a village in another segment. You get to defend a compound. So you get to do a lot of really cool stuff, and they try to make it as realistic as possible. You use the sim rounds, they're basically a chalk bullet, so it won't kill you. It does sting quite a bit when you get hit, but it's really kind of a cool experience, and you do learn a lot from it, and you're tired at the end, but it's not as bad as the Crucible in my mind at all. At the end of that 3-day war, you get to hike back to your barracks, the actual ones, where you can have a shower, which that is wonderful, and after you shower, you realize how bad your clothes stink. And I actually threw away most of my undershirts and my underwear and my socks. I just threw them away and bought all new stuff because I thought it was not worth it, which is actually a mistake because I threw it all away expecting to be able to buy a lot more when I got to my job school, but I went to an army base for my job school, so for the next year I had the wrong colored socks, but it's a different story for a different time. The last week you take some of your final tests. You do have some knowledge tests that you have to take, and you do have to pass them to graduate MCT, but I don't remember them being hard at all. I don't really remember anybody failing them, so It's another one of those things, they drill the repetition into your head so many times that you can't forget anything. But you do your graduation stuff, you turn in all your gear, you graduate. Unfortunately, you don't get to go home again before you go to your job school. And my stepdad drove up for the graduation. I think I only got to see him for like 30 minutes. And at the very end of that, after you graduate, they put you in lines and let you know what your job is. That was the first time I ever actually found out what my real job in the Marine Corps was. So, for some of you, you'll know way in advance. You'll know while you're in boot camp what job you're getting. But unfortunately, that's not guaranteed because they told me I was going to be an engineer when I signed up. In boot camp, they told me I was going to be an infantryman. They didn't tell me what kind. And then in MCT, I had no clue the rest of the time until graduation day, essentially. Then I got on a bus and shipped out to my job school. If you have any questions about anything, I know I didn't get to cover everything. I just don't know exactly what to talk about, and a lot of it I'd have to have my memory jogged. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Like this video and subscribe to get more frequently asked questions stuff and just all the Marine Corps stuff that I can put out for you. Have a great day.